I was the firstborn, and Mum was married to a driver in the New Zealand Army. Just over a year and a half later, my brother was born, and so there was two of us. And I was about when I was 4 years old, Mum took us away from our father. We were always shuffled around like places. We'll go settle in a school, and then all of a sudden we had to move in the middle of the night because Mum done something wrong that has attracted the attention of either gang members or the police. The gang lifestyle was not something that she grew up in, but it was something that appealed to her. There's a lot of abuse. It just become a norm. You know, we expected it to happen. We expected Mum to be beaten up on Saturday night if she didn't have a black eye or some form of injuries on Sunday. Something was wrong. I believe that the only way to show love was through violence. If you knew someone loved you, it's because they hit you. Couldn't trust anything. I couldn't even trust myself at times as well to do the right thing. When I was about 8 years old, I was sexually abused by a man. He wasn't a family member, he wasn't a friend of the family, he was just a man that my brother and other friends trusted. And he took advantage of the situation one day by asking if I wanted to go play with a firearm. And any 8-year-old boy would love the idea of shooting stuff. And so I was lured into that through that deception. Again, the trust the man to do the right thing, and he didn't. At the age of 16, I was attending Old Eda College in sixth form, and we'd robbed a house over the Christmas break, and I saw firsthand this woman wouldn't go back into her house. She refused to go back into her house because we had robbed it. And it was the first time in my whole life that I actually realised that the crimes that I was committing, there were victims. There were people hurting and there was suffering caused by it. And here I was essentially just taken away from this woman, her pride and joy, her safety, her comfort, all for the sake of trying to fulfill a pleasure or want that I had. I had this issue that I was damaged goods. I was beyond repair. I was broken. There was no way I was going to be repaired. In June 2003, Mum passed away. So my brother at the time, he was 22. I was 24 when Mum died, and our youngest sister, Renee, was only 13 going on 14. And so all of a sudden, I was thrust into a role where my brother and I had to be caretaker of this young girl. It was not easy. Friday the 9th of May 2008, I remember driving out to Kaiawa to pick my sister up. I received a phone call from my frantic auntie at the time saying that she's taken a whole lot of pills. And so I bundled her into the back of my car and drove as quick as I can to the hospital. And I got to Middlemore Hospital, and at about 10:20, I remember the doctors pronouncing her dead. I watched her heartbeat go from 146 to 96, 46, and then 0. And then all of a sudden, here I was looking at the corpse of a young woman who was once my sister. And it was something that I wouldn't even wish on the devil himself. It was up to my brother and I to really just try to work with each other to pick each other up. And in the end, we couldn't. My brother resorted to heavy drugs, and I resorted to violence. It was just a very dark, downward spiral. In the end, the only way I got through it was actually attending the Gate Church in Papakura and having some people actually letting them into my life. I do believe that this is where God started to actually show me that there is such a thing as trust, and that I could trust people and trust them with intimate thoughts, hurts, and then allow them to actually work with me to deal with it in a righteous manner. It took a lot of effort and it took a lot of time, and it wasn't really, and even now, to be honest, it's still a work in progress. I do have a heart for the children. I spoke with a friend in Taupo who was male and a primary school teacher, and he really encouraged me to actually make this move. I've seen in some practicums that I've done, the children that were me, and all they needed at the time was someone to be nice, someone to encourage them, someone to actually stand up and be a man and say to these children, you know, you are good, you are loved, you are quality. And I still remember God said to me that I will be an extension of his arm in the community through teaching. And that motivates me a lot, knowing that I am serving a purpose for God. It's amazing.